Hey, what's up? How you doing? This is your friend Phil, PMP Exam Coach, PMP Exam Instructor. I hope you're doing good. Well, 2 months have gone by pretty much. I mean, this is the end of February 2013. And if you were thinking about getting some targets accomplished this year, it's about time you begin to reflect as the end of the first quarter comes up next month. I mean, 3 months, boom, that's it. And you're already in the second quarter. And I know lots of you want to get PMP certified before the July 31st or July 30th deadline, I should say. So now is a good time to begin to reflect. I just wanted to give you a few updates. In the past month, we've had more students get certified, and I just wanted to share with you some of the feedback that I've received. One of the most intelligent students that I've had gave me some feedback a few days ago, which isn't really different from anything I've heard over the past few years of the PMP exam based on the PMBOK Guide 4th edition. But this chap, I mean, I didn't expect to hear it from him, but he found the exam very, very difficult. He found it very difficult. And I'm talking about someone who cleared our mock exam like it was just an easy exam. And our mock exam is one of the most difficult exams in project management you could ever take. In fact, most students say that our mock exam is so difficult that it's even more difficult than the PMP exam. Some people say that if you can get a 70 on our mock exam, then for sure you can pass the real exam. And it was the case for this guy. I mean, he did end up passing the exam, but his major grief was with the length of the questions, very long questions. And I just wanted to highlight that the PMP exam is not a walk in the park. Even if you are in the top 1% of students. Now, let me tell you why I'm saying this. On our mock exam, we give our students a 4-hour test at the end of the 5 days of PMP exam study that we do on PMP exam prep camp. Now, only 2%, that's right, 2% of students pass our mock exam on the first try. 2%. And the passing score for our mock exam is 70%, 70. So that means to get a 70, you are in the top 2%. Now, only an additional 1% get above a 75. Now, this chap got above 75%. He got more than 75. He got 78. That puts him in the top 1%, to be conservative. Although I'm guessing it's probably the top 0.5%. But that puts him in the top 1%, definitely. Now, for this chap to find the exam hard, being in the top 1%, I'm talking about thousands of students who've passed through our curriculum. He's in the top 1%, but he still found the PMP exam challenging, found it difficult. So what do I recommend that you do to soften the difficulty in the question length or the question ambiguity? What I would suggest that you do is dig into the PMBOK Guide. I know I've said it before and I've said it again, and I know you've probably heard from people saying, oh, forget the PMBOK, just read a study guide that you can understand. I've heard that lots of times. Now, if people tell you that, I'm telling you, they're setting you up for failure. They're setting you up for failure, and at the end, you're going to regret not reading the PMBOK. So, study the PMBOK Guide, is what I'm trying to tell you. Read the PMBOK Guide. But don't just read it blindly. I want you to read it, and I want you to challenge it. I want you to read the PMBOK Guide and say, wait a minute, it just doesn't make sense. How on earth could they say this? And I want you to, not to be difficult or anything, but I want you to really make sure that you know it beyond any shadow of a doubt what the PMI are talking about, what they are trying to convey. Now, the PMBOK is a standard, right? So it's not going to be exactly how you practice project management in the real world. So I'm not saying that people get silly in arguing with the PMBOK over every tiny little thing. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying in effect is that people really know what is in the PMBOK guide, such that you can teach it. You need to get to the level where you can teach this stuff. You need to get to the level where you can teach your colleagues how you can expose your PMO, if you've got a PMO, to what is in the PMBOK guide. Because if you cannot master this stuff, if you cannot get it into your subconscious, if you cannot get it deep inside of you, where you truly believe and understand what you're reading, you might have a lot of difficulty on the exam. Okay? So get to a level of proficiency that really demonstrates that you know it, that you're all over it, that it's second nature to you. I want you to read the PMBOK guide and say, so what? There's nothing difficult here. What's hard here? What's difficult? I'm all over this stuff. That's the level I want you to get to, because that's what's going to help you in the exam. It's not a question of taking tons and tons of quizzes and thinking that you're doing well on the quizzes, and then you get into the exam and you find out that the questions are worded differently and you cannot cope. If you really want to cope with those crazy questions, read the PMBOK. Get to understand the PMBOK guide. If you can understand the PMBOK guide, and it's very oblique and difficult to understand structured English, if you can go through that maybe at least twice. For me, I went through it 2.5 times before I got to a level of comfort. But I did get to a level of comfort, and today I just look at it, I'm like, yeah, so what? I know what they're talking about. And it's not just because I train it. I mean, I didn't start training the PMBOK guide right out of my exam. I had to get to a level of comfort with it, which I did. But the level of comfort will come from persistence, being persistent. And when it comes, keep running with it. Even after your exam, keep running with it. Pass the exam, keep training people, keep teaching people. Because you don't use it, you're going to lose it, whether you've passed the exam or not. Okay? So that's my little 2 cents for you. I mean, I had other students. The irony is, the students who didn't do that well on the mock exam, they said, yeah, the exam was pretty much standard and normal for them. And another reason for this, which I'll just bring up here, is, you know, the PMP exam, it comes from a wide pool. It comes from a really wide pool of questions. And there could be thousands of questions in that bank. You don't know which questions they're going to give you. So if you've prepared to answer questions of a particular type that are worded in a particular way, I'm telling you, the real thing is nothing like it. The questions are crazy. They're in your face. The questions are such that, yeah, these 2 things are right, but I challenge you to choose the best one. That's how the exam is. I remember going through my last 2 PMI exams, and I remember asking myself, are these people for real? There were questions that were in your face, outright in your face. In that, there are 2 answers that are totally correct, but only one answer is best. You see what I'm talking about? So I hope you're able to firm up your study, make it solid, get to the place where you're really happy, you know, about your PMP exam study, and you really want to be all over it, is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay? So I wish you all the best, and look forward to speaking to you again soon. Take care.